Coming up next on Access Framingham TV, take a trip around the world with Randy Ross on Travels with Jack. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Jack Barron, host of Travels with Jack on Access Framingham TV, where guests share with our audience a recent trip to places near and far, a vacation, a cruise, even a business trip. You'll see their photos and videos and hear about the exciting places they've visited. Today, my guest is Randy Ross. In 2007, Randy left Boston and began a fantastic trip around the world. You will hear about his adventure on this episode of Travels with Jack. What parts of the world have you visited? Please be my guest on Travels with Jack. Share your travel experience with our viewing audience. You can make arrangements by contacting the folks at Access Framingham. Their email address is info@accessfram.tv, or you can call them at 508-875-5434. Thanks. See you soon. Now, Randy, welcome. First of all, a little bit of history. Randy currently lives in Somerville. He was previously, after graduating undergrad, University of Vermont. Then he went to the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University in Chicago and became the executive editor for PC World magazine. For the audience, I'm not too good with the computer, but we're still going to talk about Randy's trip. He had the opportunity after leaving PC Magazine to take a 4-month trip around the world by himself with his luggage. And he is currently writing a novel based on that 4-month trip, in between doing work as a web consultant and what he officially calls himself a fiction writer. Randy also has done performing in poetry, storytelling, and smut slams and contests. And he's also involved in public readings, and will give us an example, I hope, today of a little bit of that public reading. He is the oldest of 4 brothers, which must make him secretly a brute, keeping the young kids all in line. So welcome. Tell us a little bit about the trip.
Great. Thanks, Jack.
My pleasure.
Well, in 2007, I took a 4-month solo trip around the world. And basically what I did is I took, because if you stay in a Hyatt every night, it gets too expensive. So to go for 4 months, I had to economize.
Okay.
So as far as luggage, I had, basically I took only stuff that would fit in my backpack. So it was essentially 3 changes of clothing. I also, because I went windsurfing a couple times, I also brought windsurfing gear. But basically it was a backpack about this big that I had all my belongings. And I stayed in the beginning of the trip, I stayed in some nice adult places. I went to I'm going to talk about it.
You left Boston and went where first?
First I went to Venezuela.
Oh, you went down to South America.
Went to Venezuela. Then I went to Greece.
Yep.
Then I went to South Africa.
I love South Africa. Go ahead.
Then I was in Bangkok for a couple nights.
Yep.
And then I went to Vietnam, and I went all the way down the coast to Vietnam.
Okay.
And from there I went to Cambodia. I
Yep.
was in Cambodia for 2 weeks. And then I went to Australia, New Zealand, and by the end of that I was ready to come home.
Okay. So that is quite a trip. So tell me a little bit about Venezuela. We'll start with Venezuela.
Okay. Well, if you read the headlines, Venezuela's a pretty sketchy place.
Okay.
So what I did is I went to a windsurfing resort. There's an island called Margarita.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like the Venezuelan version of Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
So I booked on with this windsurfing company, and they send you instructions. And the first thing they tell you is when you get to you fly into the Caracas International Airport, and they say, do not under any circumstances leave the terminal.
Okay.
What they do is
why is that?
It's one of the highest per capita murder
really?
rates in the world.
So in other words,
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so what they do is because you have to go from the international terminal to the domestic terminal. It's about, I think it seemed like about 200 yards, but they send someone to take you.
No.
Yeah. Some guy pulls up. It was a big black SUV.
To go 200 yards,
to go 200,
didn't even want you to go along.
They don't want you walking any place.
Really?
So this guy comes in the big black SUV.
Okay.
He drives me 200 yards, and then I go get, then I'm in the domestic terminal.
Okay. Get on the plane.
Get on the plane. You fly to Margarita Island.
Okay.
Then I took a taxi, because I was in a small beach town called El Yaque.
How did you decide to make this windsurfing extravaganza in Margarita the first place of? Did you find it on the web?
Yeah, I found it on. There's a pretty well.
Did you have other people who said to you, "Look for this"? Did you have friends who, or you just did all this from your own research?
I did pretty much my own research. I mean, I'm like a beginner, intermediate windsurfer. So there's certain places around the world that are known for windsurfing.
And this is one of them.
El Yaque Beach in Margarita Island is one of them.
Okay.
So
because I will say, and to a lot of our guests, we have found. Many of the guests on the show do a tremendous amount of their travel planning on the web.
Yeah.
And it really, I think, has made it much easier for people to plan trips and everything else.
That's exactly what I did.
Yep.
I did it all.
Go ahead. So you get there, you're going to do windsurfing.
Yeah. So windsurfing, and the thing that's interesting is, you're on this nice little beach, but there's still Hugo Chavez is still around, and I'm going to show you one of my slides. Is this sketchy stuff going on, because one of the things is changing money on the black market, because there's one rate that you get from the bank, and if you change your money with you give your American dollars to a local, they will give you a higher rate than the bank.
Okay.
So I knew this going down. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal about money changing and the exchange rates, and how this was big business now, was going down there with your dollars and exchanging them for local currency. So I get down there, and the first person I exchanged money with was the cab driver.
Okay.
The driver, and he gave me, at the time, the exchange rate was 2,100. They were called bolivars at the time, per dollar.
Named after Simon Bolivar.
Yes. Yep. So the driver gave me 2,800.
Oh, that big a difference.
Well, he ripped me off. So then I get to the island, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm talking to actually another traveler, and I said, "So where do you get the best rate around here?" And he says, "Go to the mini mart, in town." So I go in there, and the rate was, I think it was 3,800.
Oh, wow.
So that's so.
So they're that anxious for any currency but their own.
Pretty much. And then I went
Interesting.
And then there was a bar. I was talking to the guy that owned the bar, and he said, "Well, we give our best customers 4,100." Okay. So that's almost twice, but I wasn't one of his best customers. So I didn't get that rate.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not on the first day.
Okay.
And the other thing is, actually, I'm going to show this in a slide. So I'm there. I'm windsurfing. I've been there about a week, and all of a sudden, one day I go to the beach. There's nobody windsurfing. There's nobody in any of the bars or restaurants. Everything's shut down.
Okay.
So I see one of the bar owners. He's just sitting by a table, kind of pacing around, and I go, "What's going on?" And he said, "Closerado."
Okay.
Which
my Spanish isn't good.
Yeah,
sounds like closed.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. The Venezuelan version of the IRS descended on the town, shut everything down. What they do is they go through everybody's books. This is what I was told. They go through everybody's books, and if they find a problem, they shut the whole town down. I guess it was multiple people that there was something going on. So the whole town was shut down for 2 days, and all the restaurants, all the bars. And I was like, "Am I going to get kicked out of my hotel?" They said, "No. If you already checked in, you'll be able to stay in your hotel. But all the restaurants and the stores are shut." So I was like,
"This is what they deal with?"
Yeah, they said, "Yeah, this happens every 6 months."
Okay.
So I was like, where am I going to eat? So he said, "Well, the hotel might feed you." So I talked to the guys at the hotel. Said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll feed you." But it was just weird, because it's like crime scene tape all over the town on all the stores.
Really?
It says Closerado, yeah. And the sign was on all the doors. The sign was on the door of the hotel. I'd never You know, I'm a nice guy from Somerville. I'd never seen this kind of stuff
No,
before.
and you grew up in Westchester. You don't see these.
Yeah, there's no Closerados down in Westchester. No. So that was...
The IRS maybe, but not Closerado.
Yeah, well.
This is a map. This shows you going from Boston to Venezuela.
Yeah, this is the entire trip right there.
Now, did you buy an around-the-world airline ticket? How did you arrange the travel?
Yeah, there's a couple of services that offer tickets. I bought all the tickets before I left.
Okay.
Because one thing I wanted to have, because I booked it, I set it up so I would be in every place like 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
So if I was having a rotten time, I knew I'd be able to get out of there.
You mean if it was Closerado permanently?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So it was called a One World ticket.
Yes.
Yeah, so that involves, those are pretty big time airlines.
Yep.
There was another service that I checked into that was much cheaper, but they're all sketchy airlines. Air Afghanistan. I mean, it was all scary stuff that I didn't want to fly on. But the price is attractive, so I was thinking about it. But I ended up going with the One Way, which One World, and you book that through your travel agent.
Okay.
So the good thing there is if there's a problem, you have somebody to call. I mean, there's not,
This is your
this is before,
Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Yeah, before the trip, you have to go to the vaccine clinic.
Yep.
So I was going to 6 or 7 different countries.
Yep.
So I walk in there and the nurse is rubbing her little hands together because I needed 7 shots. I had to go back 3 times. Some of the shots you'd get 3 vaccinations for. Rabies, I think yellow fever is a multiple.
This map for is the areas of risk. Okay, I can read
this
it.
This
diarrhea.
So this is the issue is before you take this type of trip, if you read if you go to the Center for Disease Control website, and if you read all the stuff on the web, you'll be so frightened you won't leave your apartment. So this is all stuff that was kind of going through my head as I was preparing for the trip.
This is before you went to the U.S. State Department to see where they were burning the embassies.
I knew all that stuff
and killing the ambassadors.
Yes. I actually knew where all the bad stuff was going on, but I was able to leave anyway. So okay. So,
oh, this looks beautiful.
Actually,
is this in Venezuela?
Yeah, this was in Margarita Island. This is the hotel I stayed at. It was relatively inexpensive. It was reasonably nice. It was walking distance.
Give me an idea, if you can remember, what you think the room cost you.
I think it was like $50 a night.
Really?
And
That's cheap.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap.
That's cheap.
I think the next slide. Okay. This is a room. This is kind of a standard room. The thing that they're not showing in this is the mosquito net.
Oh, okay.
Because you go to a lot. I didn't find this out until I was on the road that there was a dengue fever warning for South America or certain parts of South America.
Okay.
But all the rooms have had a mosquito net, and you have to have it on during at night.
Okay, so that's all right. And this looks again beautiful.
Yeah, this is actually this is similar to the view that would have been from outside my window. So, okay, all these people are windsurfing. So I mean, the wind there is probably stronger than it was when I was there. But this is the scene. This is a serious windsurfing.
And how was the windsurfing there?
Actually, it was good.
Okay.
I'm a beginner intermediate, so it wasn't too strong for me. But the thing is, it's steady. So if you windsurf in the Charles, it's very gusty because there's all those tall buildings. So you go 20 feet and there's no wind.
Have you windsurfed on the Charles River?
Yeah, that's right. That's where I learned.
Really?
Community boating.
This certainly looks a little. Oh, there it is.
Okay, there's a. This is not the sign when I was there, but this is an example of
for illicit tributario. That must mean money.
Sounds
illicit
like
business.
Yeah, I guess. Usually it's a tax issue. My Spanish isn't so good, so I don't know what that is.
That's interesting. So they closed you, but the windsurfing was excellent.
Windsurfing was excellent when it was available.
How was the food there?
Actually,
once they reopened,
food was very good.
Oh, okay.
And once you get the exchange rate, it's cheap.
So you would say to our travelers who are a little bit courageous that it's a worthwhile place to visit for an inexpensive trip.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we should note, I believe Venezuela is having elections in October. And since you were there, Mr. Chavez has been recovering, quote unquote, from cancer. Doesn't look too good, but whatever. And we'll see what happens with the elections. So if he's defeated, maybe business will get better, and it'll be an even better place to visit and travel, and you won't be stuck with Closerito. All right, here we are. Next.
Okay, next stop was Greece, and I went to the Greek island of Carpathos, which is off to the right. It's very far, lower right-hand corner.
Okay.
It's one of the. It's pretty far. It's an 18-hour overnight ferry ride from Athens.
How long was the trip from Venezuela to Athens?
I'm guessing 10 or 12 hours. You know, there's I had to change it.
Not terrible.
No, but it's a red eye though.
Okay, so you get into Athens and you immediately
I stayed
in Athens.
I stayed in Athens for actually 2 nights.
Oh, okay. Did you enjoy that? You went up to the Acropolis and Parthenon?
Didn't go to the Acropolis. I went to. I'm trying to think what I did. I'm not a big sightseer.
Okay.
So I walked around. You know, there's some stuff in town, and I was like.
Did you go up that train up the mountain?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
But you saw a little bit.
Yeah, and also I went to the health clubs.
Okay.
I'd like to go to the gym, so that's what I do every
All
town
right.
I go to. Okay, this is a shot. This is actually the bay and windsurfing area in Carpathos.
Yep.
So I mean, you know, it's nice. This is the issue here is this is more of a high level windsurfing resort, so you got to be better, and I didn't really know that. And I didn't do my research wasn't that thorough. So okay, this is world famous. That's world famous. Sure, I'll go. So here it looks nice and calm.
Yeah.
Let's the next screen. So this is you know that's not me, but this would be a nice calm day.
Now, what do? You rent the?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't have to bring anything per se.
Well, actually, I did. I had to bring.
Look at this.
I had to bring a harness.
Yep.
Booties, other equipment.
Okay, which you did bring.
I did bring. So
Okay.
this is what happens more like when the wind kicks up. I can't do this, but this gives you an idea how strong the wind can be there.
Fortunately, if I was to windsurf, due to my light weight, I wouldn't have to worry too much about.
Actually, in this place,
really?
Yeah. Actually, the next
Even
slide.
me?
Yes, even.
That would be me. There I am, folks.
That would be me also, because what happened? Actually, if the next slide. This is
falling over.
okay. Over in Europe, a lot of places they measure the wind speed by something called the Beaufort scale.
Okay.
So when I was there, I think it was somewhere, I can't see it that well, but it's 6 or I mean, it was somewhere around 30, 40 miles an hour,
Which is pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean that's like when farm animals become airborne.
Oh, really?
So. I tried to go out a couple times, and I ended up like that kid on his back. And
this was not the perfect place for you to windsurf.
No, this was not a good place for
But
for
the
a
food
beginner.
in Greece had to be good.
Yeah, food was very good.
Okay, so you had wonderful food.
I had good food.
How were the accommodations there?
Accommodations were very nice.
Yep.
The only thing is, it was I'm a single guy.
Yep.
I ended up in a place that was all German tourists, couples on vacation.
Well, they would have taken you in.
Well, they didn't. They didn't. No,
Oh, they didn't?
They didn't.
Nobody invited you?
No, nobody invited me any place. Which was
We won't get into
We
that
don't need to get
for
into
our guests. We're not a smut,
Right.
what did I call it?
Smut slam.
A smut slam. So we're going to keep the show wholesome and clean. Okay.
Next stop was South Africa. So that's
I
the,
love
the next.
You flew into where? Johannesburg?
You fly into Johannesburg, and then I went to Cape Town.
I love Cape Town. One of my favorite cities in the world. You didn't like Cape Town?
I was scared.
Really?
Yeah. Well, South Africa is again, I've been reading all this stuff on the State Department websites.
I know, but Cape Town really is. Johannesburg, I can understand. You don't want to go too far.
Yeah, you don't want to go any place.
No, I mean, I went. There's a casino there. I remember we went to. Yeah, no, we had a good time.
Okay.
Went to a shopping mall.
Okay.
I didn't go, but Cape Town. I don't think there were. You were nervous there.
I was. Yeah. Well, actually,
Really?
Okay. This is a bedroom. I stayed. Also, at this point in the trip, I was staying in hostels to save money.
Yep.
So this is similar to a room that I would have stayed at. This is right the main area.
This is why the German tourists didn't want to be with you. This isn't what.
No, this is not what they're looking for. So this is the main drag is a place called Long Street.
Yep.
And behind the desk, it's a hostel. So behind the desk is, they have activities and that kind of thing. And there was a sign that said, "After dark, do not walk any place."
Really?
Yeah, take a cab.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, and this was, they were
Now, did you go
talking
to that lovely mall on the waterfront there? Did you go to Robinson Island where
No.
Nelson? Okay. You went windsurfing in that ice cold water?
No, I didn't.
Did you go in the water?
No. Actually, I did later. Actually, because what I did is I only stayed in Cape Town for a couple nights. If I guess to go to the next slide. So what I did is I booked, there's these very inexpensive bus tours that go up the coast. So all the way down the left is Cape Town.
Yep.
And I went about halfway up.
And it's beautiful.
It was nice, but the issue there, again, I'm a catcher and moaner. So the issue there was I was staying, at the time I was well into my 40s.
No.
Oh,
really?
you're
All
sweet.
right.
You're sweet. So I was
he looks like a kid. Go ahead.
So I was staying in hostels with much younger people. I mean, they couldn't tell exactly how old I was, but they knew I wasn't 20.
Right, I would have figured the 30s, but anyway, go ahead.
So basically, I was traveling with them the whole time.
Yep.
And it got to be a little.
Did you see some of the vineyards there, the wine?
No. I went. Actually, what I did is I went bungee jumping.
Oh,
this was
wow.
something. This was one thing I wanted to do there.
Okay.
And they have one of the highest bungee jumps in the world. Actually, I think it's the next slide. It's the Blaukranz Bridge.
Really? Did you?
Yeah. This is okay. So this is a shot.
Good luck to you. See, that is not for me.
That's not me, but this is one of the highest in the world. So this is the equivalent of
going.
going.
And you jumped off this?
Yeah, we were attached to the cord, but yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is the equivalent of going like to the the top of the hub at the Peru.
Yes.
So this is like going to the top of the hub
and
then jumping out the window.
The top of the hub is 52 stories.
Yeah, this is about that.
Oh my God! And you jumped?
Yeah, I was. Well,
did you know what had you ever done this before?
No, but once you've paid, you can't really tell until you've paid and you start walking across out there, and then you realize what you're in for. But the other issue is, you're out there with a bunch.
Forgive me, folks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, the other, you would have jumped also. No,
I wouldn't.
Listen, trust me, you would.
No.
With
me, the harness. Somebody was just doing not windsurfing, sky surfing. What do you call it?
Skydiving, or
when you get up on the wings at the beaches, and the boat
hang gliding.
Hang gliding, and the harness broke.
Yeah.
And the person died. Me, I'd jump, and I'm telling you, the whole harness would crack, and I'd be dead.
Well, let me just tell you the situation.
Mrs. Barron would be a grieving widow. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I was up there. It's a bunch of 20-year-olds. Jack, you're not gonna wimp out a bunch of 20.
I am. I'm telling you, I would.
You wouldn't.
No, I'm a wimp. Go ahead.
Okay.
But you jumped.
I couldn't. I had to.
Now,
They're all laughing.
You jump and you bounce up.
Yeah. Well, they tell you there's a tech. Yeah. You jump out because you don't want to whack into the bridge. You jump out. And you close your eyes, and we're gonna see a video of me like yelling "mommy." It's a different bungee jump. Yeah. So then you fall. And then when you hit the bottom I mean, you're strapped around your ankles.
Oh God!
So then you bounce up.
Yep.
And then you go up and down a few times, and then depending on the jump, the one in Africa they come down and get you. Okay. Some guys lower down on a rope and grabs you, and the one we're going to show later, they actually just crank you up.
Credit card bounces. They Clauserito you.
Yeah, they just cut the line.
Oh goodness, I don't know. All right, so you did the bungee.
I did the bungee jumping.
You get back on the little bus.
Get back on the bus. Go back to Cape Town, and
I hope. Do you drink?
Oh, I drink a lot.
So that's where you went to the bar and said, "I need a drink."
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is all right. So
the next stop.
This I recognize. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the next stop was Bangkok, and I was only there for 3 nights.
Let me another 10 hours from South Africa to Bangkok.
Actually, I think it was longer. I think this might have been because I flew again. I'm taking the cheap flights. None of these are direct, so I think I flew from Cape Town to Johannesburg to Hong Kong, then Hong Kong to Bangkok.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, most of these flights were between 12 and 18 hours, but some were longer because you'd be a layover.
That's a lot of flying.
Well, the other thing I did was on these flights where there were stopovers, I always made sure there was a 5-hour window between flights in case something came in late.
I'm with you.
So that's what I could tack on. If you got so this had 2 layovers, so that's an extra 10 hours.
Oh, all right. We're in Bangkok.
And we're in Bangkok. Actually, let's just go back for a second. This is Wat Pho. This is a very famous temple in Bangkok, and it's known for. Let's go to the next slide.
The gold Buddha.
Yes, the reclining Buddha.
Yep.
And the Buddha's huge. It reminded. You remember when we were little? There was a cartoon called Gigantor.
Vaguely.
Vaguely. Like it was huge. That's what this reminded me of. He's lying on his side.
Yep.
He's very long. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so this is a shot.
Oh, that's a good picture.
That's a good picture. Now the thing here. Actually, let's go. The thing that's okay. So this is a monastery. This is very holy. You're supposed to behave yourself, and all this type of thing. So I'm walking around looking for a bathroom, and I come to the next slide. I found a basketball hoop.
Okay.
In the middle of the monastery. The monks play basketball. This was kind of a little incongruous, but
okay.
So anyway, so
modern monks. They're basketball players.
That's how they stay in shape.
This show won't air for a little while, but I think our Red Sox this year have been using monks instead of genuine players. All right, send the letters. We'll read them.
Okay.
All right, Bangkok.
Okay.
Where did you stay? Again, a hostel?
Yes. And I
Were
was.
you happy with the one you stayed there? No.
It was a
That's
little
okay.
sketchy. It was a little
Sketchy, okay.
But the price was right.
Bangkok's a little sketchy.
Bangkok's sketchy, and and it's it was nicely located.
Did you like the food in Bangkok?
Fabulous.
Fabulous, I agree.
And the thing was.
Did you go to that roller skating restaurant perchance?
No, actually, I ate in the street carts all the time.
Okay, they have a restaurant in Bangkok. Seats, oh my God, maybe over 1,000 people. And the waiters are on roller skates, and they have circus acts above you.
Oh, jeez.
Fabulous. And the food was okay, not great there, but
Okay.
Bangkok's an interesting city. I assume you took a little tour on the river?
I took
Good.
that's how I got to Wat Pho. I took the subway down to the river, and then you take the ferry up to Wat Pho. And yeah, I took all public transportation. It was
Good.
very
And it's
very easy.
inexpensive in general.
Yes, and it was very easy.
Yeah, and easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long were you in Bangkok? No windsurfing?
No, I was there for 2 nights, 3 days.
Short.
And short because it's really actually the jumping off point. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time there.
Okay.
So what I did is I bought a ticket. I mean, I knew what I was going to do, so I bought online. I bought a ticket there to go to Hanoi.
Oh, okay.
So I went from there right to Hanoi.
How long a trip from there to Hanoi? Oh, this is what, a 500,000?
Their currency is called dong.
Yep.
So yeah, I can't remember
At
how much.
500,000 dong, I'd say that's why it's called dong, but
Yeah, it's not worth it. I don't know how much. I
not
can't
worth
remember.
too much. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember how much these are worth. So what I did there is I stayed in a hostel, and
Is
went
that
down.
snakes in the whiskey? It looks
Yeah,
like
it's called snake wine.
Okay.
This is you have to try. If you're going to go to Vietnam, you have to try this. So I went on a ferry tour,
Yeah.
and it was a wine tasting.
And this is what they gave you for wine?
Well, no, this is one of the things you could sample.
Okay.
So what is in there is that's a cobra,
Yep.
and he's marinating in
Wine.
I think it's rice wine. Yeah.
Okay.
So and the next slide.
Is this what you brought home to mom and dad
No, you
as
can't
a
bring.
gift?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
wish.
can't bring it home?
No, you can't. bring it.
Really?
No, I can. Can
Well,
you imagine?
it's dead.
He's very dead. Yeah, I don't know. You can't.
You can't export.
You can't.
Okay.
So this is a special version where you've got the cobra, and actually in his mouth is a scorpion.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is extra tasty.
Okay. Oh, this looks nice. Is this where you stayed?
No, this is where I visited.
Okay, what is this?
This
looks interesting.
is
This is my kind of place.
Yes, this is one of the most beautiful hotels I've ever seen.
What is this called?
What is this?
That's
This
hard
is
if you
it's
ever
called the
remember.
Swiss Belle.
Okay.
And it's in Hoi An, which is a
Okay.
beach town.
All right.
And I went to, so I was in the scuzzy. Actually, it actually wasn't scuzzy. It was
Okay.
$12 a night. It was a little less than a version of a Marriott. It had two,
Really?
air conditioning, 2 queen beds, but it was $12
Wow.
a night. So this is, I made sure to get a tour of the room.
Yep.
So this is what one of the rooms look like.
Beautiful.
This is not where I stayed. This is your place.
This is
where
where
you
I
would
did,
stay.
yep.
And if we go to the next slide, this is what the rate. I paid $12 a night for a room. These rooms are $480
Okay.
for a night.
But it looks nice.
Yeah, there's a better view. of the
Beachfronts are 90 square meters, elegant suite,
Yeah, it was-
suite with separate living and bedrooms. Okay, and this was what, run by a Swiss company, you believe?
Yes, Swiss. I don't know if they're Swiss, but the company's called Swiss Belle, and
Okay.
they have beautiful hotels all over the world.
It looked beautiful.
So actually, I was going to read one of the next towns I went to was a town called Nha Trang,
Okay.
and this is a scene out of a novel I'm working on that's inspired by the trip.
Please
but
read.
It's fictional, and so what I was expecting when I went to the town was something like they described it as an upscale beach town. So I was thinking something like Chatham.
Okay.
So this is
And
fixed.
you were going to be at the Chatham Bars Inn?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so again, this is inspired by actual events.
Okay.
Nha Trang, Vietnam, 1,300 hours. Walking out of the bus station, I detect an airborne agent that could be mustard gas or a burning squid factory. The curbs are piled with smoking garbage. Rats frolic in the streets. Okay. Rats carry fleas, and fleas carry bubonic plague. I recall that untreated, the plague can progress like this in less than a week. First, fever, chills, aches. You lose interest in online dating. Second, lymph nodes in armpits fill with stinky pus, swell to the size of an apple, and turn black. You cancel the upcoming ski trip to Jackson Hole. Then, body turns blotchy purple, limbs and nose turn black with gangrene, and then things get unpleasant. I cover my nose with my hat and move out. One click from the bus station, hustlers overtake me. Several men brandish DVDs and travel books. A woman hawks what appears to be the local specialty, Boom Boom with Vietnamese girl. 13:30 hours. At my destination, the Hotel Dong Long, I encounter resistance from a local couple manning the front desk. How much for a room with a large bed, I ask? $10, says the man. How about if I give you 8? He shakes his head no. I turn as if I'm going to leave. The man turns to answer the phone. The woman walks away. A Western tour group enters the lobby, and the man starts checking them in. I wait till he's done. Any more of those $10 rooms, I ask? You again. One left. I register, collect a key, and ascend 6 flights of stairs. The room has 2 large beds and a view of a construction site. The pillows are heavy and hard. A blow from one could send somebody home in a body bag. The toilet paper rolls are wet and crumpled like paper mache. I switch on the bedside lamp. Nothing happens. 6 flights later, I'm back at the front desk. You again. I'm having a little problem with my room and was hoping you could help me. What problem? The lamp doesn't work and the toilet paper is wet. He hands me a soggy roll of toilet paper. We go. In my room, he turns on the ceiling fan. Its blades whirl inches from my head. He holds the lamp switch for several seconds. It goes on. All fix. He marches out. 15:30 hours. I put on a bathing suit and head to the beach for afternoon PT. 30 feet from the hotel, I'm in the stuff. Travel book, DVD, boom boom. I body surf occasionally, unsuccessfully for an hour, and limp back to the hotel. In my room, I search for the ibuprofen. Crunch, 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 crunch. The floor has been overrun by fingernail-sized beetles. I gobble 3 200-milligram ibuprofen and stomp the bugs until the linoleum is covered with black, gooey carcasses. Suddenly, I'm in the mood for a bean burrito. 2,300 hours. No luck securing a burrito. On the way back to the Dong, I'm ambushed. DVD, travel book, boom boom. The hotel is now locked by a metal gate. Inside, the desk man and his family sleep on single-sized mattresses on the floor. I scout the building for another entrance. No luck. I tap on the gate. Nothing. I bang on the gate. You again. Sorry to wake you. I climb the stairs and flip on the room light. Several platoons of ants are gorging on beetle entrails. Suddenly, I'm in the mood for tapioca pudding. But I can't face the desk man again tonight, so I wipe up the mess with toilet paper, flush it, and go to bed. 0100 hours. I'm awoken by screaming, gunshots, and explosions. I cover my head with the rebar pillows. The battle rages. A neighbor is watching television. 0200 hours. The volume has been turned up. I pop 3 more ibuprofen and rap on the neighbor's door. Nothing. I pound on his door. Somebody stirs inside. Grunt, groan, grunt. I imagine a guy with a room full of boom boom girls. Grunt, groan, grunt, shuffle, shuffle. The door opens. It's an elderly guy. He's alone and uncircumcised. 0600 hours. I awake to the chirping of pile drivers and jackhammers. It smells like the burning squid factory was doused with cat urine. I leave the Dong in search of breakfast. Video, travel book, boom boom. I abort the breakfast mission and fall back to the hotel. You again. I'm really sorry about last night. Could you please book me a flight to Saigon for today? How about right now? So that was based loosely on my experience.
From Scarsdale to Hanoi.
To Nha Trang.
Nha Trang.
Nha Trang, Vietnam.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, is that a sample of what's in the book?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a comedy book.
Yeah, comic novel.
Yes,
yeah,
it sounds like comedy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be funny.
Great. All right. So you wiped up the bugs.
Wiped up the bugs, and I got out of there as fast as possible.
And got the hell out of there. All right.
So the next
moving along, we're into Saigon.
We go to we're in Saigon, which is actually. So I wasn't there very long. I was there a few nights, and then. At a certain point, when you've been doing this much traveling, you kind of want to keep going.
Okay.
So I was there a couple nights, and it was getting expensive. So I was walking.
$12 is now expensive.
$12 is now too expensive.
So the money is really dwindling. Okay.
Well, it's not dwindling. You just got to get into this thing where you got to bargain for everything.
Okay.
It's just a mindset. So I'm walking down the street, and I see on a travel agent's window a sign for a 3-day, 2-night trip up the Mekong River from Saigon to Phnom Penh, and it was like $70. It included meals. I think that's what the price was. Included meals.
Travel.
Yeah, a ferry.
Dancing girls.
No dancing girls.
Okay.
So I booked this trip. I just gave the guy the money. I said, yeah, just do with me whatever you want. I'm going. So the next stop was. So I take the trip, and the next slide is actually. So I go to Cambodia. And one of the things in Cambodia is, at least the places I went, a lot of people don't, the English is kind of hard, non-existent. The first night I was there, I went into a restaurant, and in
other words, Vietnam, a lot of people did speak English?
Vietnam was easy. This was the first place where I thought to myself, now I'm over my head. Because I'm in a restaurant, they give me a menu, I can't read read anything on it.
No pictures?
No pictures. I talked to I asked the waitress, and she doesn't speak English. I asked the hostess, she doesn't speak English. So I do the arm gestures and
That's
chicken, and I point to stuff on other people's table. So a couple minutes later, I have a can of beer, which is good. That works.
Okay.
And then I have some chicken wings that are they have feathers on. They're singed.
A
few feathers. And that's all I was getting. So at that point, I got up and I was like, I got to go in the bathroom and regroup. So I'm walking towards the bathroom, and I see a Western guy with a table of locals. And I wave to him. He waves, and he goes, "How's it going?" And I go, "Actually, it's not going very well. I'm having a hell of a time trying to order food." He says, "Sit down with us." So I ended up traveling with him and his local girlfriend for 2 weeks. They invited me every place. Yeah, they invited me every place. So I had and the woman, his girlfriend was local, so she knew.
And he was from where?
He was from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was. But the thing.
And really, they adopted. So that instead of the German couples, the Canadian couple adopted.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's great. So they took you around for 2 weeks.
Took me around for 2 weeks, but one of the things is when you go to a hotel, because in some places the street signs. Either there are none or you can't understand them. So they give you the card at the front desk has a map of how to get back to the hotel.
Oh, I got you.
So this is the card
to show a cab driver.
To show a cab driver, or if you can figure it out. So this was in Sihanoukville Beach, which is one of the stops. So I went to Phnom Penh.
Yep.
Then I went to Siem Reap, which I believe is the next slide. Siem Reap is where this is where Angkor Wat is.
This is Angkor Wat.
So I was in Siem Reap with this couple for.
Tell me a little bit. Did you like that Angkor Wat? That's somewhere I haven't been and I want to go.
Well, like I said, I'm not a big sightseer.
I understand, but that's a world.
Yeah, you have to go.
Renowned, must see.
Must see. You have to go. And at the time I was there, I think it was either a one-day. You had to either get a one-day ticket or a 3-day ticket to go in. And one day I thought was going to be too short, so I got the 3-day ticket.
1 day was enough?
Yeah, actually 1 day was enough because you get kind of templed out.
Yeah.
Because these places are huge.
Yep.
So and also at the time I went, those famous pine cones.
Yes.
They were closed for renovation.
Oh, okay.
So
you didn't get to see everything.
I didn't get to see everything, and after a while, I just got kind of.
Was it interesting?
Yeah, it was fascinating.
It was okay.
Yeah.
So you would say, Jack, it's worth going.
Oh, you have to go. You have to go. You have to go. You have to
All
go.
right.
If you're going to Cambodia, you have to go there. And the hotels were decent. Again, you would have stayed in a different place than where I stayed. But
depending if I had any money left. But
yes, but
I don't know. I filled up my gas tank this week. I don't know when you're going to show this. $98 it cost me to fill up my gas tank. So I don't know how quick I'm staying at the
at a certain point you got to kind
Oriental of Phnom Penh or whatever. All right, go ahead.
This is just another shot of Angkor Wat.
Okay.
Just that the place is huge.
Oh my God, what is this?
Okay, actually, see, I wasn't that crazy about the temples, but I liked they had a crocodile farm right in town.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about the crocodile farm is, I mean, these critters are pretty big.
Yes.
Actually, I think we go to the next slide. So this is actually looking down into the crocodile farm.
Yep.
You know, if you're walking around, and on the side, on one of the sides, okay, they've got this wall, and next to the wall is a swimming hole filled with children. So
So if the kids misbehave, they go in the wrong pool.
Okay. I don't know what they do, but I wish I had a camera that had you know, I wish I had taken a shot that had the kids right there, and the crocodiles, you know, like, I don't know, 10 feet.
Behavior modification.
I guess it works.
There you go. Okay.
So that was my favorite part of.
Okay. Now, did they sell? Just for my own knowledge, when I get home, do they sell alligator handbags?
Crocodile, yeah.
Oh, they did?
Crocodile stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what the farm is for.
And they make the stuff there?
Good question.
You
I don't know.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah, I was on a budget. I wasn't buying crocodile
no,
anything.
No, but when you see that, you figure
maybe
they must
crocodile
sell.
meat at the local restaurant. Okay, the next slide is. Okay, this is.
Oh, this looks.
Yeah,
nice.
this is Sihanoukville Beach.
Okay.
So I went to Phnom Penh, Siem Reap.
Yep.
And then Sihanoukville Beach. These are the main places to go in Cambodia. And I went with a couple because
these still with okay.
They took
yep.
Yeah. And the interesting thing here is. There's the nice part of the beach where if you had any money, you'd be staying down there.
Okay.
And then there's the less expensive part where I was.
Okay.
And the deal is they have all these are bars with these thatched covers,
yep.
Thatched roofing. And if you drink all day at the bar, you can sleep there for free. They have these hammocks out in the back.
Okay.
They look like tuna.
Really?
They look like tuna carcasses.
Okay.
I wouldn't sleep in one because you're outdoors and. There's malaria and all kinds of stuff. But I met a guy, guy in his 60s who was there with a buddy of his. They were going to be there for a while.
And they were just drinking all day.
And sleeping in the hammocks.
Okay.
And this was a guy from the UK. He was a English teacher. He had retired. So he had a big house. But when he goes on vacation, he liked to slum it. So this was where he went.
And to our audience, if any of you can give us a little history of where you have found places where you can drink all day and they give you a free bed at night, let us know. We'd like to bring you on the show, share that with everyone. Okay, so you drank there a little bit through the day.
Through the day, but I didn't sleep there. I stayed in the hotel.
Any windsurfing there? No.
I didn't do any.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was done with the windsurfing.
Okay. All right. So you finish that beach and you move on. Where's the next? Did you look? You lost the couple there, or they had?
No, they were still.
Oh, they're still with you. Where did you go next?
Actually, we went back to Phnom Penh because I had to catch my flight.
Okay.
What I did was something. It was called it's called an open jaw ticket. So what I did was I flew into Bangkok.
Yep.
And my next flight was out of Singapore.
Oh. Okay.
So I had to get from Bangkok to Singapore on my own.
I'm with you.
So what I did is I went with we went back to Phnom Penh.
Yep.
And there it's easy to book travel arrangements because you can book it right at I was staying in a guest house, which
yep.
is it's nicer than a hostel, but it's cheaper than a hotel.
I got you.
And the woman behind the desk, I said, I need to get to Singapore, sometime by 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Right out.
Yeah, she.
And for Singapore, for our guests, is kind of the central hub for Asia. Period.
Exactly.
Singapore has flights to everywhere: Bali, Hong Kong, Bangkok.
Australia,
Malaysia, it's part of Malaysia really, but Australia. All right. So you get back and you go into Singapore.
Well, actually, my flight left from Singapore to go to Australia.
Okay.
So I had to get to Singapore by a certain time, and
you're on your way to Australia.
And I go to Australia.
Okay. Where'd you come into Sydney?
No, actually, I went to Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay.
Melbourne.
All right.
So actually, I think we got the next slide. Okay, so this is Melbourne. I mean, this is the famous Flinders. Train station.
Okay.
I've forgotten the
Melbourne,
exact name.
by the way, is considered the first or second best city in America, in the world, to live right now.
Oh,
I just read a review on that.
It was nice.
One of the big magazines.
But as usual, I found some things to complain about in Melbourne. So I think
now you're getting more expensive too.
Yes. So yes, we're getting more expensive. And then the next slide. Next slide.
Well, tell me a little bit. You're in there.
Okay, so I'm in Melbourne, and I'm walking down that Flinders Street train station, and a fly lands on my lip, and I spit it away, and I keep walking. The fly lands on my ear, like this, and I get, and the flies are starting to come, and I get down to the train station, and there's people going like this. And what they have is, I haven't found this in any of the travel books, but what they have is during the spring and summer, they have these black flies that descend on the city.
Oh, all right.
And they're all over the place.
Oh God!
So this
isn't you.
This is not me.
No, too much hair.
Yeah. But they're called Australian bush flies.
Oh, okay.
And they go up your nose, they go down your throat.
All right, this is not for me in the spring or summer.
And they have something called the Aussie salute.
Okay.
Which is people that,
I got you.
So that was that was my experience in Australia.
All right, so you were in Melbourne. Where after Melbourne?
I went to a place called Surfers Paradise because I was hoping to windsurf.
Yep.
But they didn't have windsurfing, but they had surfing.
Okay.
So I get up to Surfers Paradise.
And Surfers Paradise is where?
It's near Brisbane. It's on the coast.
All right. So toward the Great Coral Reefs up there.
Yeah. It's not that far up, but
okay.
yeah.
I'm with you.
So it's a beautiful beach area.
Yep.
And
I was thinking the flies.
Well, this was worse than the flies.
Oh, what?
This was worse than the flies. I get up there, and it was spring break. So it was like, and it's like they call them schoolies, and these are high school kids that just go up there to run amok. So I was in there.
Well, you must have fit right in.
Yeah. So the 33,000 of these kids running around, at night after the bars close, you can hear them like crying jags, and they're just screaming and crying. The girls are crying, the guys are screaming. This is going on every night.
Did you drink those big 40-ounce Fosters they had?
What do they have? They have different sizes. They have something called a pot of beer, which is 10 ounces.
Okay.
They have a schooner, which I think is a pint.
Yep.
Also, they don't drink Fosters. Fosters.
Oh, really?
No, Fosters is
down
over there. Yeah.
When I was there, we had. Okay. Go ahead.
They have triple. Was 4X bitter.
Okay.
is more popular, but yeah, but I like Fosters.
Okay.
They frown on it over there, but I was fine. Give me the Fosters. I drink.
But
I didn't
they're good drinkers over there.
The good drinkers. Yes.
Okay, so you're at that beach with the schoolies.
With the kids, and I booked myself in for 8 days.
Okay.
So I made the best of it. I did go surfing. Got a surfing lesson.
You liked it, or kind of mixed? 8 days was too much for you there.
It was also the time because it was all kids.
Yep.
Running around, and also this is kind of a built-up area. I have
You
family
mean hotels, condos, things
yes,
like that.
bingo, like Miami.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, but it was fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't go back, but it
All right.
was okay.
No,
It was okay.
listen, a lot of times when you travel somewhere, it may be a one-time visit. You can't expect to always want to say, I loved it, I'm going back. But you say, like, in Cambodia, it was interesting, I saw it. Jack, you should see it, but I'm not returning.
That's a good way to put it. Also, you don't know before you book this
No, you
stuff.
got to go, though. All right, you leave this beach area in Australia.
Actually, at this point, we're done with Australia.
Okay,
we're out of
where
there.
do you go now?
Next, we go to Venezuela. Next, we go to what the hell's New Zealand.
Oh, I loved it. Okay, go ahead. A little quiet, though, New Zealand. You went...
Depends where you're
Oh,
staying.
okay,
'Cause
all right.
I stayed in hostels. I mean, what I did is I
Okay.
booked a. They had a. I stayed first night I was there. I stayed in a hostel.
Yep, in where? Christchurch, or you went...
Auckland.
Auckland. You went right to Auckland.
Went right to Auckland.
Lovely city. Didn't you like it?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
And so I'm staying in a hostel, and they have this bus tour. It was.
Yep.
It was 14. It was. I think it was 14 days or 17 days. It goes from the North Island all the way down to the South Island.
Okay.
And you go and you stay in all these hostels, and you go to all these different places. And again, so it was me at 40-something at the time.
Yep.
I'm older now. And a lot of 20-year-olds.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with 20-year-olds. It's
Yep.
just I'm not 20, and there's only so many nights I can stay up till 4 in the morning drinking beer.
But that's what they wanted to do.
That's what they wanted to do. I
Okay.
did my best. And then, actually, I think we have a video of, because there's Queenstown is the
Yep.
place where you do they have all the adventure sports. So once I got to Queenstown, I did as much as I could do. So I went bungee jumping twice. And I did something, we have a video of, it's something called the canyon swing,
Okay.
which is like a...
I'm still recovering from your bungee jump in South Africa.
okay, well, I may want to cover your eyes for this.
All right.
Because this one, I'm screaming.
I'm waiting. We'll see if Bill puts it on for us. But
as well. There we go. Okay, so best thing for you to do is to get both your toes just up to the edge there. And you're going to be going straight out that way towards those dead trees. Yeah, just don't jump on the cliff to your left. So just go straight out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good fun?
Yes.
Yeah, 60-meter free fall there now. Get up to about 150 k's. So not bad.
If I did 213 free plunging, how long would the free fall be?
I don't know. Have you done 213? Oh, I should have gone backwards.
No.
Oh, well, good on you, man.
No. Hey, thanks.
I'm just getting my breath back.
You and me both. I wouldn't do that again.
You wouldn't do it again?
No, I did it 3 times, and each time it was worse.
Okay.
I did, South Africa. I did it twice here, and I thought it would get easier. And it didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't.
So you decided returning to Somerville and
fine.
going to Rudy's for a burrito was the extent of your
I'm fine. Yes.
world traveling for bungee jumping.
Yes. I'm done.
You're done with, okay. And so you started.
You have to do, Jack. If you go,
No,
if you go to
Jack's not
Queenstown,
doing
you
it.
have to do that.
No.
You go to Cambodia, you're going to see Angkor Wat. If you go to Queenstown, you have to jump.
No. In fact, I remember being under the Queenstown Bridge, they call it in Sydney, across from the Opera House, and they were bungee jumping
Yes.
from there. And I chose instead to sit at a lovely restaurant eating fried shrimp and tartar sauce. So I do remember, but I would pass on that. But
Okay.
that doesn't mean our viewers have to.
And actually, there's a second video of actually a jump. Yeah, this was probably the worst one of all. And it was because it was a cable car.
What you want? What you want? What you want? Come on. What you want? Where are you from, Randy? U.S. Whereabouts, man? Boston. Boston. You know it? Not very well. Got a bit of snow at the moment, have you? I don't know if they have it in Boston, but they got it up in Vermont and Maine. And you get pretty cold, though, don't you, Boston? Yep. All right, champ. So this one, tucked in there. Oh, it's that easy to pull? Yep. Nice movement, sweetheart. No sharp little take. It's more of a timing thing. A signal to okay. Let's go.
You left New Zealand after this bungee jump
Yep.
and went where? Back to America?
Back to Somerville as fast as I could.
Came in through Los Angeles?
Bingo, yeah.
Did you stay in LA at all?
No, I almost did.
Okay.
'Cause I flew in during, so I went in September.
Yep.
I left in September, and I was coming in on just the cusp of Christmas vacation.
Oh, okay.
So they were starting to have problems with, flights being backed
Overbooked.
up and missing luggage and all,
Yep.
all this kind of thing. So I got to Los Angeles, and actually I missed my connection.
Yep.
So I'm online, with everybody else.
Yep.
And actually I called the travel agent back in Boston, and I said I missed the connection. And because there's total chaos when this kind of thing goes
Yes.
on. Everyone's running all over the place. And I called the guy back in Boston, and he said, "Don't worry about it." He checked.
He was surprised you were alive.
He was surprised I was alive, and he checked his schedule and said, "Go right now as fast as you can to gate XYZ because
Okay.
the flight hasn't left yet because it's been a snow delay because of Boston."
And we'll get you on.
Yeah, so I ran as fast as I could and I got on. But I mean, there were people that would be stuck. If I had missed that flight, I could have been stuck in Los Angeles for a couple days.
That's all right. You would have managed.
I would have managed. But it was nice. This guy took care of it.
You got back to Boston, and you were kissed the ground.
I saw Logan. I kissed the ground.
Wonderful. This was really a very exciting trip. Now, so you get home. Did you decide then you were going to write this book?
No, actually, what I've been doing the whole trip was I've been blogging, and the blogs were fetching and moaning, and this.
So you have a following.
A small following, yeah.
Okay,
At the time,
that's all right.
I have a bigger
That's all
following
right.
now, but it's a small following then, yeah.
Oh, so there's
family.
your little blog.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, family and friends. And I
And
had
do you ask them for loneliest?
Actually,
What is this?
this is where the blog. This is my blog now, and one of those tabs up there is a trip around the world, and if you just
Okay.
click on that, it takes you. So my website is called theloneliestplanet.com.
Okay.
And if you go there, you click on a trip around the world, and it has all my blogs for the 4 months that I was on the trip. So I got home and I had 150 pages of material.
Really? Okay. So
that-
you really had, while you were doing this whole trip, blogging set you up to produce this novel.
I hadn't thought about it, but when I got home and had this
It
material,
seemed natural.
Yeah, it seemed to make sense.
Well, let me ask you the big question. Are you planning another trip?
I don't know. I've been doing small stuff. I went to France and stayed in nice places.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went skiing.
Okay, good. You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Okay.
The
The food is wonderful in France.
food is
I
great.
know
The
it.
skiing was great, but I don't know if traveling the whole problem is traveling 4 months by yourself. Some people
You've got
are
to dig up the Canadian and the Cambodian girl. There you go.
Take them with me. Yeah.
Have them take you, travel with you, send them a note. Say, I'm ready, let's go.
They
you'll
babysit
go
me
up-
for 4 months.
You'll go up to Whistler's there over near Vancouver in Canada and go skiing there, and then you'll return to Cambodia, go to that beach again, and you'll have a few bucks. You won't have to sleep in the hammocks behind the bar. Well, this was quite a trip. I want to thank you very much
thank
for
you for having
coming.
me.
If you do take another trip, please share it with us on Travels with Jack. We'd love to have you again. We'll look for your novel when it comes out. Anything else you want to let our audience know about your blogs, your websites?
Well, actually, on theloneliestplanet.com, there are videos of me reading bits and pieces of the novel around Boston, because I've read it Passim, I've read it different libraries. So there's videos of me reading different stories.
Great.
And
Well, I found your reading here very funny, so
Thank you.
I'll have to visit that and see your different sites. Thank you again. Wonderful to have had you. Folks, we'll see you again in a month with another show. And this is Jack saying good night and good day from Travels with Jack.